How in the holy hell do you do a sequel to a movie where the ending was the planet blows up and everyone dies? Well, it takes a little bit of creativity, but apparently it can be done. This movie takes place in 1973, where a spaceship containing 3 astronauts lands in the waters near Los Angeles. The astronauts turn out to be 3 intelligent talking apes, 2 of which you may be familiar with, Zira and Cornelius. Cornelius is once again played by Roddy McDowall now. The third is a brilliant chimp scientist named Milo. The apes are brought to a military facility and then to the Los Angeles Zoo, where they are treated for some minor injuries and studied for their intelligent behavior. At first they don't talk, but eventually Zira slips up and talks because she gets annoyed with one of the people there. After revealing that they can talk, this freaks out a sick gorilla in a nearby cage, who gets a hold of Milo and chokes him to death, deeply saddening Zira and Cornelius. Upon the public finding out that there are 2 talking, intelligent apes from the future walking around, they become celebrities, and they live a pretty good life. It's explained that during the Mutant and Gorilla War, Milo repaired Taylor's ship and they blasted off, and the shockwave of the planet's destruction sent them through a reverse time disturbance that sent them back in time nearly 2,000 years. While the couple are having fun living in a hotel and meeting loads of people, one character is not so pleased, a government scientist named Haseline, who believes that the apes are a threat and should be eliminated. Zira had let slip enough about the future that they know eventually mankind falls and apes dominate the planet, but he insists on knowing why, believing that Zira and Cornelius, and more importantly their unborn baby, are the beginnings of an intelligent ape uprising, and he works against them by getting Zira drunk and interrogating her, and then doing so again with truth serum, where she gives a very detailed account of exactly how the ape uprising happened. Realizing that in the future Zira had dissected and performed experimental surgery on the primitive humans, there's a big debate as to whether or not these are atrocities against mankind, and whether the pregnancy should be allowed to run its full course. They're put into a cell at a military base, but they wind up escaping after Cornelius gets angry at a guard who uses the word monkey, which is highly offensive to them, and he knocks a food tray into the guy, which apparently killed the dude somehow. They escape, and Zira has her baby at a nearby circus ran by this guy Armando, played by Ricardo Montalban. They name the baby Milo after their deceased friend, but after discovering Cornelius killed a dude, however accidentally, there's a manhunt, or I guess ape hunt, and when he finally catches up with them, Haseline shoots baby Milo to death, prompting Cornelius to kill him. But not before he also fatally wounds Zira, who throws the baby's body into the bay, and curls up beside Cornelius, who was shot by the military to die. The big twist ending that you knew was coming? The baby that was shot was a common chimp. The real baby Milo is back at the circus and can already talk. Well, damn. This one's pretty good. It's not as good as the first 2, but it's a lot of fun. The first half of it is almost like a comedy, with the 2 time-displaced apes. Hell, it's a bit like Star Trek IV, just not as dippy. But then the second half, of course, returns to the dark nature and philosophical bend of the first 2 films. The villain, Haseline, is very much like a human version of Zaius from the first 2 films. He can't see the apes as anything other than a threat. Despite how docile, well-mannered, and polite they are, he views them as savages in disguise who wish to bring down mankind. My biggest issue is with their account of how the apes became dominant. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, and it would be followed up on with the next 2 films. A great plague wipes out all the dogs and cats, and humans make apes their pets. But due to their intelligence, they become more like servants than pets, and as the apes become smarter and smarter, they eventually realize they've become slaves and stand up to their masters. This is great, but Zira and Cornelius say it's in the apes' sacred scrolls, which makes no sense to me because in the first film, Zaius, the biggest follower of the sacred scrolls, believed that the apes were created directly by God and that humans were never intelligent. And Cornelius believed that intelligent apes had evolved from primitive humans. In this one, the couple seems so sure of the dog and cat story, and while they mention Zaius' interpretation and reject it, their previous beliefs are not mentioned at all. Another thing is the young man that Cornelius kills. He didn't realize he killed the guy. It was an accident. But all Cornelius really did was knock a food tray out of the guy's arms and knock him off his feet. I always thought it would have been a good move to show that Haseline killed the guy to frame Cornelius, because watching the scene, I can't see how the guy died. I don't know, maybe he was a hemophiliac. Despite these continuity and logic issues, this one's great, and it still delivers that gut-punch ending that the series had been known for. Overall, it's a good movie, and I'm glad they figured out a way to continue the series after having destroyed the entire planet. 7 out of 10 for this one.